some dates and then send
That's
them.
pretty cool. If we can come.
All right, thank you. We'll welcome you to our March COG meeting. Our we are meeting at in the County Council Chambers in the Tooele County Courthouse Building, 6:00 p.m., March 20th, 2025. First item on the agenda is roll call. We'll do that by going around the room. If you would state your name and the municipality that you are representing.
I'm Marisa Mancion. I'm representing Tooele City. The mayor can be here tonight.
Dave McCall, Tooele City.
Eric Stromberg, Tooele County.
Scott Wardle, Tooele County.
Ty Hoffman, Tooele County.
Sheldon Birch, Berta City.
John Olson, Vernon.
Kathleen Von Hatten, Lake Point.
Mark Ernst, Tooele County School District.
Colonel Luke Clover, the Tooele Army Depot.
Senator Jessica Cho, Dugway Proving Ground.
James Harwell, Dugway Proving Ground.
And Krista Moore, Dugway Proving Ground.
Thank you. I will mention for the record, Mayor Melly asked to be excused. He had a family item that he had to take care of, and Mayor Critchlow said he will be coming, but he'll be a little bit late. Do we have a quorum, Brittany, to start? Okay, we'll go ahead and begin. First item on the agenda, or next item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have any comments from the public?
I'm acting as the public right now.
Yes.
So I just wanted to talk to this body about an opportunity that we have. The state has put together a board called America 250, and this is for the celebration of the 250th year of America. So what I'm looking for, I know that we had some members from Tooele City that had joined a call with this board, but what I'd like to do is see if we can get together. They kind of recommended as a county as a whole that we got together all the communities and create a committee for these events that they'll be putting on these events. We just need to help coordinate the timing and those types of things. So I just wanted to share that this is coming and that it's something that we need to start planning for now. Obviously, I'm just letting you know, I'll send you guys some information, but maybe talk within your municipalities and in your prospective areas and see if this is something that we want to do all together. You can definitely do it in your own way too. It just might look better if we do it all together as a county. So I'll send out some information, but if you want to get back to me, and I'm not volunteering to be a chairman of anything, but I'll help coordinate this, and we can create a really good committee that could really show how proud Tooele County as a whole is of America.
We'd be really happy with you.
I agree.
Do you guys want to know all my other titles while we're sitting here? So that's all I have, but I'll send out some information. I just kind of wanted to put it out there and let you know that from what I understand, the state's actually going to be doing a lot of these events. We just need to help coordinate where they have them. So it would, I don't think it's a ton of work on us.
So the state has a committee that's in place already?
Yep.
All right, yeah, we'll appreciate that, Brittany. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, at this time, we have a presentation by The Power of Kind. And I'm going to let Kendall, if you'd like to introduce this
Yeah,
Let
group.
me come on, I think you can self-introduce, but let me tell you how I met One Kind Act today.
We put them off a month because of a snowstorm, and so we appreciate you being here.
So you can just punch on that green button there. So anyhow, I went up to Governor Cox's inaugural, he did a service project at the Utah Food Bank. And while I was there, I seen One Kind Act today. And I was a little bit familiar with it because of Cosro Seminani. And so I started talking to him and I said, hey, I like the idea. We all do. We all like the One Kind Act today. And I said, would you be willing to come out to Tooele to a COG meeting? And so they said, yep, we got it set up last week. And so we're fortunate to have you come out. Thank you very much. And we'll let you share the sweet message to it and what we can do with it next. So thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me today. It's very kind of you to allow me to go early in the program. I appreciate that. And the kind thing for me to do is not to take a minute more than my allotted time for y'all. My name is Mason Bennett. I'm the Director of Operations for an organization called One Kind Act Today. I actually saw a sign like just down the street. Someone's got one of our yard signs. And so it's, but I've been asked to give a little bit of a presentation about who we are and some of the initiatives that we do in communities and cities and why we do them. So I always like this quote to start off with, puts a good perspective. 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind, second is to be kind, and the third is to be kind. It's just a nice reminder for how we as human beings should live and interact with each other. One Kind Act Today, I don't know, some of you know quite a bit, some of you I don't know if you know anything about us, but we're a charity that was started here started in Utah in Salt Lake City. We're fully funded, 501c3, so we have one donor who's our founder who in 2022, 2021, there were a lot of things going on in the world, and he was looking at the state of how people were interacting with each other and thought, this isn't how we should be treating each other, and thought, how can we fix this? And he landed on the idea that a universal thing everyone can get behind is being kind to one another. And what would be the impact if we all just tried to do one deliberate act of kindness every single day? And so we founded our organization, endowed us with enough that we need, that we don't seek funding, we don't accept funding. We've got one donor, and the nice thing about that, and I've never worked for a charity who's been able to work in that way, is that we don't, we get to focus all of our efforts on programming and spreading the message of kindness and getting that through the world. So here's a purpose for this presentation. We're trying to move the world towards a culture of kindness, One Kind Act Today. We focus on a lot of areas of society. Politics, we need a lot more kindness. Businesses, schools, we do a lot of work from preschool to higher education, religious groups, and also in communities, cities. We feel like if we can work in communities, it helps combat, like it says up here, disunity, isolation. There's a lot of people, especially after the pandemic, who feel isolated from one another and don't like to get out and mix and mingle. And so there's a lot of need for connection and community. And so that's one reason why we really enjoy working with all the different groups, but especially communities and cities. Here's some of the ones that we're currently working with. We have a program, a Certified Community of Kindness program, or City of Kindness. North Salt Lake, Vineyard, and Pleasant Grove have finished their certification, working with some others right now. I'm going to cover really quickly just some of the ideas and things going on in these 4 communities, just to give an idea. And feel free to ask any questions if you have any throughout this. So we'll start with North Salt Lake. We initially connected with them through their health and wellness committee, kind of with the idea of creating connections within the city, and through a series of steps, establishing a liaison within the city to work with and getting ideas. We kicked it off May 21st with a resolution for kindness in the city. We have a kind of a draft or format that people use. North Salt Lake was unique in the fact that they wanted to, and we didn't mind, they wanted to highlight just kindness overall, not necessarily One Kind Act Today specific, but just that they wanted to have more kindness in the city through events, activities, and all sorts of things like that. And they may use our group and others in the future as well. And we thought, as long as they're spreading kindness, we're okay with that. Working with North Salt Lake, we worked with several groups, which we'll go through in a minute. So the first one was with their social media. This was a big push that they focused on, was getting more kindness on their social media, getting that spread out through the city, having people be more connected online and knowing what kinds of things are going on. We also worked a lot with the different schools. To them, it was really important that we worked with the schools. We have a certified Schools of Kindness where we do a lot of programs with schools, like I said before. And the mayor and one of the city council members went out with us to the schools to connect us with all of them and talk about different needs and things they needed to have. One of the schools is Orchard Elementary. I guess I can pause for a second. So we have a lot of programs that we do, and we never like to come with a prescribed program and say, this is what you need to do, this is how you be kind. That would display a lot of hubris. You know your groups, you know your cities, you know your goals, you know your problems, you know what's going on. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of collateral and different things that we can bring to the table. And we like to come and collectively develop something that will work for your group, for your organization. So that's what we do with every group we work with. Everything we do is tailor-made for whatever the needs are at the time. All of our programs we offer are free of charge. At schools we give out shirts, signs, stickers, all sorts of things like that. And so since we're not asking for any financial investment, we do ask for an investment of time to develop and implement something, but we feel like that works better to do that on a tailor-made kind of status. So this school, all they really wanted to do was kind of a week-long program at the end of the year. That sign at the bottom, the green one, that was a big one they liked, 'cause that's their drop-off pickup line. I don't know if any of you have, kids in elementary school, but that's kind of a tense, unkind area of the school at times. And so they just wanted some nice reminders. But, we had assemblies and that kind of thing. Another school is Foxborough Elementary. They had some very unique things going on with them, and they opted to do a full year-long program for the initial push to become certified. We did assemblies, all sorts of things going on. And we're planning to certify them at the end of the year. They've accomplished all the requirements. And then, it's not a one and done. We have a Kindness Club program that we set up, that we offer to all of our certified schools of kindness, where they can continue on with these projects and these focuses in the schools.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Throughout this presentation so far, you've talked about certification.
Yeah.
What is certification? What does that entail, and what does that mean?
Yeah. So that's a great question. Like I said, we offer everything we have free of charge. So if anybody wants to take anything from our website and go use it, and we have no idea that they've ever done it, that's fine with us. But if a group wants to work more in depth like these schools or the cities have, that's when we come in and we tailor make a program. And we have we've got requirements to become certified as a community of kindness. We do it for businesses, cities, and schools, where we go in, we work through the requirements, find a way to tailor make it for the organization, and then implement that. And if the school, business, city is able to accomplish and complete those requirements, we come in and bring them a nice certificate, bring the press, have a big to-do, and certify them as part of our communities of kindness.
If they don't?
If they don't, we say, good job. We can keep trying to accomplish these, it's all about kindness. We're not mean to anybody about it. But it's just not something it isn't something that we just, it's not everybody gets a prize, kind of thing. So if they don't, we're willing to keep working till they accomplish whatever they need to do to reach those requirements. We try not to make it onerous. We don't want it to be unachievable. But yeah, great question. Any others? Okay. So elementary schools, Wasatch Peak, it's another one we worked with. We worked a lot with the North Salt Lake Health and Wellness Committee, with big pushes with community and wellness, and helping get set up with their food pantry and projects with that. There was a food pantry that has grown a lot in need in North Salt Lake, and they wanted to have other ways to partner with them. Did projects with their Parks, Trails, Events, and Arts Board, which is now, it was a huge committee. Now it's split into 4 different committees, but that's what it was at the time. And they really liked the idea. There were people saying, people on our trails aren't very nice to each other. Nobody knows the yield rules or anything like that, and everybody kind of gets mad and leaves, leftovers from their dog along the trail, and we got to find a better way to take care of that. This is a really fun one. So we love our signs at One Kind Act Today. We feel like signs are, any reminder out in the community is just a nice way to have a little seed, a little thought implant in people's heads about being kind. And so we love to spread signs, and a really fun way we found to do it is with youth city councils. We go out with the youth, and it's almost like political canvassing, but for kindness, where they knock on doors and say, hey, the city's making a push for more kindness. We'd love to put a sign out. Would you be willing to do that? And there's no cost to anybody. There's no commitment. If you want to take it down in an hour, feel free. If you want to leave it up for months and months, that'd be great too. And going out with the youth city councils has been a lot of fun doing that. It's another fun one. The police department in North Salt Lake had talked about how they wanted to have more interactions with people. Oftentimes people think about interactions with the law enforcement as punitive, and they want to have some that were more positive. So we made these kindness citations. So you can't pull over someone for being kind, but if you happen to be in a situation where they notice something, they had these citations, which were essentially coupons to a local donut shop in the city, and people could take these and get a free half dozen donuts. So any questions with that one? For just a lot of ideas and thoughts. Utah County, we've done a lot of work with. The first city we ever did that became a certified city was the city of Vineyard. And again, with the awarding ceremony, we made a big to-do, invited a lot of people, and the county commissioners came and said, have you ever done a whole county before? We said, no, this was just our first city, but we're willing to figure that out. And so actually, Utah County is working right now to become the first county of kindness in Utah. And so they passed a resolution, they're working through it, and we're just moving through each of their cities now over time. Pleasant Grove was one. This was one that was fairly easy, actually. Pleasant Grove has already been doing these efforts for about 5 years, and we just kind of folded in with existing programs and just tried to enhance what was happening. You asked about the certification process. We brought the requirements to them and said, you guys are already doing this. You should have been certified years ago. But we worked with them through a project, through these different groups that they had, Choose Kindness, PG Cares, with the Communities That Care, the Ripple Effect, and they were just certified at the end of February at a big event. These things you see here, these were signs that we co-branded with them, yard signs and big 8-foot by 5-foot banners around the city that they wanted to get. Every February in Pleasant Grove, they have a kindness month, and so they just wanted to have these to put out every year. And their old banners had gotten kind of worn, and they wanted new ones, and so we worked with them to co-brand, and then we printed them off and provided all the yard signs and banners that they wanted. The city of Salem has been doing some as well. Again, they passed a resolution. We've been working with them. Salem has, I assume this is all being recorded, so I feel comfortable saying this. They've been doing an awesome job, just taking this and making it their own. I have some videos, but I won't, for the sake of time, I won't take the time to share them. But they we've had 3 liaisons working with them down there, a council member, a city employee, and then an interested citizen. So Salem is a city of peace, and so they created an initiative for the past year called Kindness Creates Peace. You can kind of see it on those signs that we, again, co-branded and printed off for them. And so they've been spreading those around, doing projects with the schools and social media, recognizing kids for being particularly kind on their sports teams or in their schools, having essays and different events like that. They've been taking it to each and every one of their schools and just using it as a really great way to spread kindness, create community, and bring people together, also with their businesses as well. Alpine is another one in Utah County who we've been working with. Our liaisons down there have been doing a good job spreading it as well. So we, again, started with the resolution, and they've been taking it to their schools as well and throughout the city. We've had a lot of fun. One of the things that actually was really nice out of this, so how we tailor make everything, the liaisons down in Alpine were former educators, and they said, we want to make a specific curriculum to pilot at some of our schools. And so we worked with them to tailor make a curriculum that we're piloting and hopefully going to fine tune and bring to more schools. So that was something really nice that came out of it. Spreading it in the parade, we made an extra a website specific to Alpine and One Kind Act a Day, where they could count acts of kindness happening in the community. Just whatever they thought they needed, we were willing to work with and figure out with them. This was kind of fun, and I highly encourage you to try and break the record, but I think the city of Alpine has more signs in their city than any other community in Utah right now. We went out with the youth and have spread signs out, and they just pepper the city, which has been a lot of fun. They also did the kindness citation. That's one they've really enjoyed. And so, good, I'm not taking too much time. We really enjoy working with cities. We'd love to come out and work with communities and find ways to spread kindness and share the idea of One Kind Act a Day and community. The nice thing about cities, counties, communities is you're connected with the schools, with the businesses, with your individuals, with the individual citizens. And it's a great way to spread the message. One thing that we think about a lot is we're not selling programs. We're not, out there selling hamburgers and soda or something like that. We just want to promote a narrative and promote community, and that's all we're really trying to do. And so we would love to find an opportunity or a way to do that and spread kindness and community within your communities if you're interested. So if you are, feel free to reach out, and we'd love to talk with y'all. Any questions?
Contact information?
I'll get it. Yeah.
Okay.
In the back, was that what you were gonna say?
I hooked up with Commissioner from Utah County,
Yeah.
and before I talked to you, reached out to you to see if you guys could come out and do this. She was very, very positive about the good things that are happening down in Utah County, so appreciate you coming out again. And no, I just wanted to make sure we heard about the contact information. How does the mayors, how do we reach back to you, those who want to do this?
So it's really easy. It's at info, at powerofkind.org. And I will send an email to our whole team, and someone will contact you. But yeah, I know this was maybe a bit of overload, but I just want to kind of show what kind of things we've been doing, give some ideas, and kind of start the gears working. One last thing I'd encourage you to do, we have this pledge here. So one thing we try to encourage individuals to do is to take our pledge of kindness. So if you scan the QR code or go to our website, you can make a commitment to daily acts of kindness. And I don't like getting a lot of emails. I have about 181 unread emails in my inbox right now, which is embarrassing. And I don't like getting long emails. So on Monday, we send a very short quote and an idea of something kind you can do to start your week. On Friday, we send one to start your weekend. And I always tell a team that's all we're doing to people. That's the kind thing to do, not to fill up people's inboxes. But yeah, take the pledge. You can kind of see some of the things that come out of that. And thank you so much for letting me come.
Thank you.
Just so you know, the next time you feel bad about your 180 emails, I have 2,100.
2,000, okay, I feel a lot less bad.
No, that's 20 months, but I'm trying to be kind by making you feel.
It makes me feel a lot better, you know. My coworkers are starting to tease me, and yeah. Thank you.
Brittany, I just got a message from Mayor Critchlow asking if you would send him the link so he could join. Thank you very much. All right, the next item on the agenda are to approve our meeting minutes from January 2025. I know Megan sent those out. Hope you had a chance to read through them. Are there any corrections that need to be made? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
I didn't see anything necessary. A motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the January minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain just because I wasn't here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the next item on new business. Councilman Hamner.
I'm replacing Councilman Hamner
So Ty's gonna take care of
for
it
the
for us.
county cleanup.
Okay.
So you all should have this in your packet of papers. We're doing the county cleanup again. It's our fourth one. It's in conjunction again with Earth Day, as well as Take Pride in Tooele, cleaning up Tooele, which they do, and we hope to build on that. And so the way it works is the same as always. Any group or organizations, church group that you guys are part of, anything like that, school organization, they can go sign up for roads or trails and get a punch pass that's valid for 3 free dumps at the landfill for that group or organization. We got a lot of junk on Highway 36 from here all the way down to Juab County. So go sign up for a section of it, or any part of it. And get other groups to do it as well. And then you can take it to the landfill for free anytime during that time. But then also, on Saturday, May 10th and May 17th, any residents can take 1 free load of dump to the landfill. You may be asked to provide like your driver's license or something to make sure you don't live in Salt Lake. But that's it in a nutshell. And then you can read what the items are not that we can't accept down on the bottom right. But at least for yourself, do the spring cleanup and mark your calendars for May 10th and 17th. And if you can, go clean up some of the junk. You know, this idea came to me because I love to go out and ride my side-by-side around this county, and there's a lot of places where people go out and dump their junk all over this county. And we need to make more of an effort by everybody to get this cleaned up. So spread the word on this however you can, on your Facebook pages, all your social media that you can. And if you need more copies, make them or we can send them to you. Okay? Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question.
Okay,
Are you sending it out digitally too, so it's easier to?
we can.
That'd be great.
We'll have Megan do that probably on Monday when she gets back. Oh, Brittany will send it out tomorrow. Under promise and overperform, that's what we try to do.
So I'm gonna ask what might be a silly question. So with if we have a group like our boss or some of our community FRG or something that wants to participate in the roads and trails, does that also require a proof of address? Because our service members won't have Utah addresses. They won't have Utah driver's license.
I don't think we've crossed that bridge, so how do we get around that?
They could use their ID card.
Do they have mail that shows Dugway or anything like that?
They do. They'll receive mail at Dugway if that's accepted. I'm just looking at the.
That should be acceptable, yeah.
Or the military ID.
Or with our, or military ID, yeah. We'll let,
If you're planning on roads that are state roads, you actually would just leave the bags there. It'll be the orange bags provided to you.
Okay.
And then, UDOT goes and picks them up for us. We just let them know that they're there. But if it's any county roads or trail systems, then you would wanna take them and we can work through that, so.
yeah, I forgot to mention, when you go to the roads department to get your punch card, they'll give you bags too, garbage bags, okay? And yeah, state roads, just leave them on the side of the road and then state will come by and pick them up.
I'm up though.
Where do you pick up the punch card?
At the roads department, right here,
Where?
it is on 55, it's right here, 55
Okay, got it.
west, 900 south,
All right.
Tooele.
Yeah,
There's the numbers to call on there as well.
yeah,
The roads department is just on your way home.
yeah, I know where that
Not
is.
there on Fridays.
They're not there on Fridays.
No, they're not.
The admin fees are half day Friday.
Oh, down there? Okay, okay. Every time I go there. I do. I go on the wrong halftime.
Okay, agenda item number 7, any old business that we need to discuss?
I have one additional new business if I can. So just for everyone's information, today, the depot put out a news release to the news distribution areas. Next Thursday evening from 6, and I've got copies here for everyone here that let me pass them down here. Let me grab one. Got way over here. We're coming up to our open detonation season again here for the Army Depot. And so next Thursday, we're having a public informational meeting with Q&A at the Eagle's Nest up here at the depot, where we're gonna discuss what we're doing, the permits within what we have some information about that open detonation and the open burn, where we fit within those permits that we have to do those operations. And then we'll be answering questions, and giving information to anyone who shows up that wants to do that, that wants to partake and find out more about what we're doing. Additionally, in the next coming weeks, we're gonna have a media day where we're inviting all the local news stations, the main newspapers and media outlets to come and be a part of one of an open detonation, where kind of like we've done, I guess, a couple of years ago, where we tell the story, they'll probably do a news story, and find out what we do, how we do it, the safety parameters of the operation, and we're gonna let representatives from each of those media outlets push the button on one detonation that we do out there, and so they can kind of see what we do, how we do it, and then what's going on, to spread the word about it's coming up season again. And our season's from April 1st to the end of October. So just so everyone's aware, it's gonna be that season, a time of season again.
One question I have, are you sending this to the governments in Utah County, Eagle Mountain, some of those others, because they're the ones who.
Yes, yes. Yes, because you are correct, that's where we get a lot of
That's
our.
where I get my phone calls. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Third quarter sales tax, we'll turn the time over to Eric give a report on that.
All right, so we did meet as a subcommittee to go over the application. So if you remember, I think it was the end of last year, we approved the scoring criteria. We've taken that scoring criteria and created an updated and better application for that. So that way, the application is actually asking the information that we're trying to score on with that. With that, there were a few changes we need to make from what we did on that. We'll have, as part of the application, there will be a glossary or whatever you want to call it. I'll figure out the right way to word it. At the end, it defines, third quarter versus corridor preservation, what's required or what we mean by a traffic study. If you remember, one of the things we're saying is it doesn't necessarily have to be a formal traffic study. We've used the example of ERTA with the charter school. If they really want to have someone, during pickup, drop off, seeing they're counting the number of cars that are pulling in there, we would consider that a traffic study if they're looking for funds to try and improve that road. Erwin mentions a camera, I guess Tooele City's purchased that counts cars. So that's, what we're looking at. We're not looking for everyone to go out and spend what it costs for a traffic study, but so we'll explain that a little bit more because there's some, I'll say a bonus point if you're including traffic study to, I'd say justify what you're asking for with that. So that application was presented, like I say, a couple of small changes. One thing that wasn't out there that I thought of after I had sent it off is, would you be willing to accept partial funding? So that'll be on there, and then asking is there a percentage? It might be I'll take anything I can get, or anything below 70% is not going to help me out. So not only would it be partial funding, but is there a percentage where you kind of say it's not going to help me anymore? So that application is good to go. With that, like I said, it matches up with our scoring criteria. So where we're at with now, we'll get those fixed, be able to get it out to everyone by the end of the month. The due date would then be the end of June for those to be turned back in. That allows for everyone to complete their budgets, because another one of the items is if you have funds coming from your budget, that helps in the scoring criteria. So we adjusted that to make sure all the municipalities have done their budget. You can say, yes, we've allocated a certain amount for this project for that. So due date would be the end of June, with the anticipation that in August, we would be able to come back as a committee with scoring and recommendation. I shouldn't say score, just the scoring for COG to then provide recommendation in August. So if there's questions, happy to answer. We can get them all out.
I just want to bring this up. One concern that the committee had was that we feel like we've come up with a scoring system now that will definitely put some separation between applications. In a spirit of cooperation, we may be creating a spirit of competition. And one thing that was brought up that I don't think there's any of us out there that think if there's a project, for example, that the county wants to pursue that we can see of interest that's going to be a benefit to all of our communities. The trouble is we don't hear about where they want to spend this money until we get the applications in front of us. And so we're going to ask, and we're going to ask Brittany if we'll put this on the agenda for next month, for you to bring to COG something, a project or something that you could see using this money for. And so that as we can get your understanding, we can ask you questions about it. I mean, there was discussion in there today about certain streets that I've never heard of before 33rd Parkway or something like that. The hick from Vernon has no clue, but that could be very beneficial to our county, to our community, and certain things like that. So if you'll go back to your communities and make it an item of discussion, so that when we meet next month, we can just discuss. And I have no problem saying, hey, we have benefited in the past from this funding. We're maybe, instead of asking for 100,000, maybe we'll only ask for 20,000 or something, so that we can provide more money to Twilla City or Grantsville City or Stockton or whatever for this project that they really need to get done. So, is there any comments or discussion about that idea? What do you think about that?
I love information. I hate the more data we have, the better. When we can ask questions beforehand, it clears up a lot of misconceptions when we walk into the meetings.
I appreciate that, Councilman, because I know last year I was a little shocked when I got there to grade the application, saw Twilla County had 3 different projects that they wanted funding for, and we knew how much money was available, and we knew how many different communities and government entities had asked for money, and we knew that it wasn't going to go all the way around. And so, if you're okay with that, please come next month prepared to discuss where you'd like to spend some money and how you feel COG could help you by providing some funding for that specific project or projects. Okay? All right, thank you. At this time, we'll just go around the room and let each of the people have a chance to speak and report on any of the committees that they may serve on. Start with Marissa. You don't have anything? Dave?
No, I didn't make it the, one meeting, I didn't make it, but they did have it at JPAC. And, but I would like to say something, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And it's in reference to, something that we used to do years ago. And we won't need to do it right away. It's something that in the fall, or maybe first thing in January, preferably before January, that if the COG as a whole would go, we need to plan it, but go as we used to do years and years ago and go up to Capitol Hill and meet with our representatives. And I know some of you guys have been there, but we used to go collectively as a group to meet all of our representatives that represent Tooele County as a whole. And it wouldn't be just the commissioners, it would be the mayors and some councilmen from all the cities. I think that might go a long way, especially if we get on that prior to them going into session, because they plan their session starting in like September, October. But if we can get on their schedule then to let them know some of the things that we need or we would like for them to fight for our community, the county as a whole, as not just as a city, but as a whole. I think that would go a long way. And it's something I've been thinking about, and I went there a couple of times by myself, but me going by myself is not really gonna do anything, especially since they won't let me take a gun in the building. So, I'm kidding about the gun. But anyway, I think it would be a lot better if all of us could go. Just something to throw at you, Mr. Chair.
I love the idea, in addition to what we did with the dinner this year, I'd recommend we get together in the fall, though.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I've learned, actually probably August,
September or July,
yeah, to
August
meet with
the
our
30th, the way the
legislators,
scheduling works,
Yeah.
because they've already started opening bill files for next year. There were over 800 bills this year. We tried to keep our eye, and Kendall, you were awesome on the Hill with this, on issues that were extremely critical valley-wide. We fought a great fight. We lost, but we fought a great fight on gravel pits this year. lost. We fought it on circuit breaker taxes, which we need to get ready for, because it's going to hit our military veterans. They're kind of held harmless in that bill, but not really, and our senior citizens fairly hard, beginning, actually, the bill's retroactive to January 1st. And so, we would love to have that participation and a day on the Hill. We do it with UAC, I think you guys do it with the league, so I think it's a great idea.
So how would we go about, you guys that have experience, how would you go about making an appointment?
Probably a dinner again or something like that, but earlier in the year, I think.
I think if we could do it in July, 1st of August.
Have them come out here?
Well, we've got Bridger here, we'll have Bridger, we'll have Nicolene. I'm sure Scott Sandel will come down, Senator Sandel. I don't expect anything from our other senator, to be honest.
So what you just switched parties.
And the other thing that I think is critical for us, and this was going to be part of our report, is uniting out with our federal delegation. We are currently working, and Andy, you can give a better update on this, on BLM properties, to go into a bill, that if we're trying to get BLM properties either switched out of BLM land, and they're not large parcels, just so you know. They've gotta be less than 10 acres or something close to that, is that right?
That's right.
And trying to get those, we've been working with Senator Lee's staff, Jared's really, for 2 years. We were back there 2 weeks ago. The plan is that we will be meeting in Washington for the next, it's about a 6-week process, every 6 weeks. We will have someone back there with our lobbyists, working to get that taken care of and some ideas on energy through the Energy Department. And so,
Tell them what the 10 acres are for.
the 10 acres are for housing. So and Senator Lee is the chairman of the committee. I don't know if other beneficial uses, but I know Twila City, there is a parcel of land that you guys want to put a well on. You're having trouble getting access to that property. I think if we can include that, these processes, I mean, it's been a 2-year battle to get here. We believe we'll get the bill passed probably in the fall, but have it teed up for committees. We're meeting with Senator Lee's staff, people from the BLM and the Energy Department. Jared will be back there in 3 weeks, I think. And then we will go back again at the 1st of June. And so if we can get that information to Andy, he has got to get that to Senator Lee's office as soon as possible. So I'm guessing, yeah.
We're working on a map right now. Rochelle's working on a map. We were just talking about that this morning. So if you know of parcels like that, we know there's at least 2 or 3 in Lake Point that are right in the middle, 5 acres or something like that. Let us know, but we're looking everywhere else. If you know any, let us know. I'll do that in the map. It's the talking points that we'll have when we go there.
So Dave, I think that's a great idea.
No, it's great, and with that, and I'll shut up, and I'll throw one more thing out there. If we're gonna do that, when we get together to plan that meeting, that if we can also throw something in that would address potentially state or federal funding to help develop whatever it is we decide to do.
I'll talk about that a
You know
little bit in
what
my
I mean?
report, yeah. So,
Thank
We're
you.
gonna try, they're gonna say no, but you gotta ask.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Eric, do you have anything?
So the one thing, and I was gonna mention this with the council last week, but I think it makes sense for this audience as well. So Scott mentioned, being back in DC for the NACO conference, and I was in the Justice and Public Safety Subcommittee. And that very early in the conversation took a quick turn from presentation from a couple individuals from Department of Homeland Security and threats at the local area, and I'm sure our representatives from the depot and Dugway have their perspective of it, but they talked quite a bit about threats, obviously from China and what can happen from supply chain and how quickly that can happen and affect. They also talked about, sister cities was brought up, and anything that's, if you see anything that's a sister city from China, that there's a reason for that. They talked about, you know, it's not coming from the city, it's coming from a lot higher level to say, reach out to, you know, somewhere in the US. So it was very interesting how quickly that presentation went, you know, that specific direction, and just, you know, the awareness for, and like I said, it was mentioned, and I think it just makes sense for all of us to, you know, as I said, the supply chain, you know, where are you getting stuff? They talked to, you know, different things like, you know, security cameras and stuff that, again, I'm sure you're aware of, it has to be there, but, you know, if we're thinking about it here in our building, are we paying attention to where are we getting things? And if you're getting it from the wrong spot, what kind of access are you providing? Cameras, servers, you know, they talked about, you know, power and transformers and stuff like that, you know, we rely on. So, you know, not to scare everyone and freak everyone out, but it was really interesting because I think the threat is real, and we need to be aware of it. So,
Thank you. Scott?
Eric's done a great job on that committee. Our federal delegation mentioned it in our private meetings with them. I'm bringing back just 3 items from Washington DC, and well, just first is we are going to continue to see development, and in our discussions with the other counties, there is a concerted effort to push citizens to our county. It's not going to stop, and from the federal side of the house, it was, I know I beat this horse before. I've laid off for about 1.5 years. I can't lay off it now. Water connectivity and using federal partners to bring water to our valley. We have got, they're saying we are not just behind now. We are getting to a critical level. And we would love to engage in those discussions again with the cities, because it is a critical need now. And our federal partners, it was stunning because it was one of the first things out of their mouths. We didn't bring it up. And then we talked security. The second is there has been a slowdown in the economy. Federal funding on a lot of things, and we have projects that have been put in budgets, is paused for a lot of us right now. The continuing resolution that was just passed, we've had some funding that we've been told will be there. We're concerned it won't be now. And so I think that it's time to be somewhat prudent in how we look at projects and what is necessary, what is nice. This year looks like it's gonna be a harder year until we get to the fall and a federal budget get passed. And the fall is where that showdown will happen. The third thing is, and I want to congratulate Wayne Benyon. You know, I've been coming to COG off and on for almost 20 years and not really understood the amount of work that Wayne and the WFRC team does. With the legislature this last year, we saw some funding issues come up about how we serve, WFRC serves smaller communities. I would really recommend, if you are not taking advantage of some of the services WFRC has in planning in many different areas, that whether it's transportation and infrastructure, Wayne, am I right on these? That please take advantage of it. Planning with purpose will prevent problems. And in this case, the planning will either, we can control it or we will have the legislature control it. And that was the argument this year. The last thing is to bring you up to speed on is next Thursday at 1:30, we'll have WFRC board meeting. And in that will be a legislative update. I would encourage as many as possible to be online for that, just so that we can understand the impact of this year's legislative decisions on our communities. Funding was cut back significantly in some areas. We had Faust Road teed up. It went through appropriations. It got to the Rules Committee, and it was killed on the floor. I mean, furthest we've gotten but it was a $24 million project that got cut. I think in any other year, we would have been able to do it. So we appreciate our partnership with the military on that to get that, and we're going to tee it up again. It needs to be done, so thank you very much.
Scott, would you talk a little bit about House Bill 48?
Which I have to go look.
That's the fire, did that pass, or is that
The,
about requiring an inspection of all of the residents, wildland fire?
Interface.
It's a wildland interface bill. I don't think we're prepared to talk about it yet. We need to
Okay.
get together with Bucky and Dan and
Okay,
we haven't discussed it as a county yet.
my fire chief
How
just,
that's gonna impact everybody.
my fire chief just called me in a panic last night.
So one thing that we did realize through this legislative session, a question was asked to us very profoundly, and that is, are we using all the county option on tourism tax to assist in other areas, including fire? The Senate, or the President of the Senate and the man in charge of the House both took us to task as council members. We got lit up, I'm not gonna lie, we got lit up. He said, why are we giving you money? Here's the principle. Why are we giving you money when you haven't done everything that you're required to under the statute? And that principle, I think, is a pretty good one to look at, so.
The tourism tax?
There's a 2% part of that we can raise. Right?
0.25.
0.25. It's,
So we're currently collecting 4.25, and if we raise it to the 0.25, then there's mitigation funds available for fire, EMS response, and cleanup, so the trash cleanup.
so you'll see us that will be a discussion we'll have as a council.
Thank you.
Do you have
I don't
anything
have
else?
anything.
Nothing for me.
Mark?
Yeah, just a couple things, just a update. We hope to start paving Barra Boulevard and 2400 North this April, so hopefully in a couple weeks we'll start to see that come together, which that'll be nice for everybody, I think. It'll be a great addition to that part of town. Also, the week of March 30th, so not next week, but the week after, that's spring break for the school district, so more kids out and about that week. And then one item to put on your calendar, June 3rd, is the ribbon cutting for Desert Peak High School. That'll be, I believe, starting at, 4:30-ish, maybe 5. We will do a VIP to begin with, which probably just about everyone in this room will be part of that. And then we'll do a public open house so people can walk through that high school. I know many of you have been through it, but this will be for the public. And we hope to take possession of that.
Date again?
June 3rd is the date of that ribbon cutting. And we hope to have partial possession of the high school here in just a couple weeks. So, moving right along.
Do the May COG meeting there.
Yeah, absolutely, maybe so, yeah. We have room.
Thank you. Anything else? Doug, what?
Yeah, so a couple things. Most of you in the room should have either received this afternoon or tomorrow morning an invite. April 16th, we will do at the Zions Bank Building in Salt Lake City, our annual community session. Historically, that was done by us. The Utah Defense Alliance is sponsoring it now, but it's an opportunity for us to share with you, area legislators, and area civil groups or civic groups, what it is Dugway does, how we can partner. It's part of telling the Dugway story. May 1st, we will do an open house. It is the first one in several years at Dugway Proving Grounds, so both community leaders and media are invited. Once again, we do both events because it's easy travel to the Zions Bank Building, much more difficult to come out to Dugway, but what we'll be offering is the opportunity to showcase what Dugway does, specifically focused on 3 events, 2 testing events where we'll show you what testing looks like, as well as Utah National Guard conducting a live fire exercise out at Dugway. So that's a great opportunity to get out. And then I know it's a little further out, but you know, since you guys brought up 250 and I brought it up a couple other times here at the COG, we had to raise an army to create a nation. So the Army's 250th birthday is on June 14th of this year. On June 12th, we will do our event at Dugway. On June 13th, we are partnering with Tooele City to execute an event. I can't remember the park's name at near Pratt Aquatic Center, but what's that? City Park. Okay, hey, easy to remember. City Park by Pratt Aquatic Center. That'll include some displays, a cake cutting, as well as a run with both Tooele Army Depot and us participating. I think because we're so distributed, oftentimes for the general public, you have the 4th largest Army installation in the continental United States sitting in Tooele County, as well as part of the Defense Industrial Base providing our ammunition for our warfighters. The contribution to the national defense by this county is absolutely significant. And so what we want to do is take it off our bases for this year and bring it to the city where we can celebrate not only with our workforce, but with our veterans and our local community partners. So we'll be doing an event on June 13th there. And then on June 14th, for anybody who's interested, the Utah National Guard is putting on an event at Fort Douglas. That is the primary Utah event for the 250th birthday of the United States Army. So, thank you.
Thank you.
We do have Mayor Critchlow online if you wanted to ask him.
Pardon?
Mayor Critchlow is online.
Neil, do you have anything?
No, I don't. Sorry for being late, you guys.
Hey,
Right.
thank you.
Hey, John.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
And Scott mentioned that about the state legislature and the effort we all put into that, but I learned something when I was there. The gravel bill come up, and we found out about 2 weeks after it come out. It's an aggregate bill is what it is. And when it got to the Senate, by the time it went to the Senate, they says you can have a minute and a half. When the gravel people, Salt Lake County, have been working on this bill for over a year and a half. And so we didn't get the chance to really learn about it. We didn't know about it. I guess what I'm saying is, we talked about it, and it was great discussion about how do we get prepared for the upcoming legislature. July is too late. We need to get with our representatives right now, within the next couple of months, I don't mean tomorrow by no means, so that we know what we want as a group. One thing I did learn this year is gravel is worth lots and lots of money. We're not getting one gosh dang penny for it. No sales tax. We don't get any fuel tax for them to drive that trucks out of there. To me, this is something I really think we ought to focus on, is that sales tax for aggregate, for gravel, and on the fuel tax. I think each one of us have something that we can bring to the table. I would suggest that at a COG meeting sometime, Mr. Chairman, that we talk about it. What do we want our state lobbyists, yes, but also our elected officials? What do we want to go? I learned about there's an interim meetings at the Capitol. We need to have a voice there, again, about the housing, mental health, about gravel, so we don't come up on the short end. We've got to be prepared. And so as we think about that, let's start getting ready for July and have our meetings. I think you brought up a great point about we used to do that, but that's too late. We've got to be more proactive. We've got to say, this is what we got to have for Tooele County, for the different cities, municipalities. So just if we could do that, maybe get it on the radar, be thinking about what do we want our legislators to fight for us for.
Along those lines, Jerry Taylor once told me, Ty, if you're not at the table in politics, you're on the menu. And that's what we're getting. And it's true. It's absolutely true. So.
Okay. So if if everyone, here is agreeable, we'll make that an agenda item for next month's meeting as well. Items that we'd like to see discussed with our state legislature. Is that okay? And, we'll make that a part of our meeting, and then maybe we can set up, after we discuss it through April, May, June, then maybe in July, when we maybe set up a dinner or a luncheon with our state legislators, we can present them with the stuff that we've already had time to discuss so that we're prepared. I know that the dinner that we had with them just prior to the legislative session starting, I think was very beneficial, but once again, it was probably way, way too late. And we were just throwing stuff up on the board as fast as we could think about it, instead of actually being prepared to discuss what we really needed and wanted to get done. So I think that'd be very good. Okay, anything else before we adjourn? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.